Basically, we're, referring, I was asked a question like this yesterday to Department of Justice on any legal actions that might be taken or being looked at. Certainly that is for them to take a look at. So for any potential legal actions, this is not something that's going to be happening from here.
In other words, the DOJ should look into Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, but I, the press secretary, am going to stay out of it from the White House podium. It's not exactly like her boss calling his attorney general, Merrick Garland, but pretty close. California Gavin Newsom went all the way, wrote a letter to Merrick Garland asking him to look at DeSantis for kidnapping charges, although there's no evidence of that. Newsom alleges the sending of illegal immigrants from Florida to Martha's Vineyard is akin to kidnapping, human smuggling, and coercion. Never mind, the vacation island rounded them up 48 hours later. We now have the video of it. Put them on a bus under armed guard for shipment to a military base. And nobody's asking the DOJ to look at Massachusetts for kidnapping charges. Martha's Vineyard in September is, well, lovely. I digress. This is just the latest example of both parties using the Department of Justice to settle their own political scores. For all the talk about rule of law, weaponizing the DOJ is at the top of the list for cannot do. As we said, problem from both sides. Biden and Garland, Trump and Barr appear to be guilty of the same thing. Here's the former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York explaining how Trump and Barr tried to pressure him.
I wanted people to understand the full scope of the outrageous and improper political interference by Trump's Justice Department in the cases of the Southern District of New York. I think a light has to be thrown on this kind of outrageous conduct that really corrupted the Department of Justice and turned it into a political instrument for the president.
Okay, he is selling a book, but worth paying attention to. That was the man in charge of investigating President Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. Among other Trump confidants, using the DOJ to settle political scores is something as Americans we don't do. Yet here we are. Alan Dershowitz is here, famed constitutional lawyer, Harvard professor, joining us, I believe, from Martha's Vineyard. Professor, it's good to see you. Thank you. Here we are. Have we crossed the Rubicon into Banana Republic world?
Well, we're very close to it. Both sides are trying to weaponize, as you said, the criminal justice system. The idea of indicting the governor of Florida for kidnapping is about as stupid as my former colleague, Professor Tribe's attempt to get the Justice Department to indict the former President Trump for attempting to murder Pence. Both sides are misusing the criminal justice system, and we Americans are the ones who are suffering. By the way, I'm not on Martha's Vineyard. I told my friends on Martha's Vineyard in my synagogue that I would personally pay to feed and give medical care to all the people. And I think most people in Martha's Vineyard opened up their arms. And however you stand politically on these issues, human beings shouldn't be used as pawns by either side, just like weaponize the system.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. I can't help but wonder how we got here to this, as you said, sort of level of stupidity. And is there a safety net? What prevents us from going to the places that I used to work in the Middle East, where the next group gets in power and they start indicting and throwing in jail the last group?
Well, it used to be principle that would be a kind of check and balance. And I've just written a new book called The Price of Principle, How Integrity is Worth the Consequences, in which I tell story after story, including on Martha's Vineyard, where as the result simply of me representing former President Trump in front of the United States Senate was canceled by the library, my books were banned, my wife was criticized. We live in a world now where you can't simply have conversations about different points of view. Everything is weaponized. Everything is choosing sides. And I'm very worried that the Democrats who are now in power will use the Justice Department to try to prevent President Trump, former President Trump, from running. And I want to vote against President Trump if he runs. That's my constitutional right. People have the right to vote for him, but nobody has the right to deprive the citizens of the opportunity to vote. And what's going on?
I only got 30 seconds, but
Yeah.
I want to get you on this. You know, when you've got something, as you said, I'm not a lawyer, but I've followed your career and admired you since I was a little boy, watching you during the OJ trial as a strong advocate. When you have somebody like Newsom suggesting something as unserious as charging DeSantis under RICO provisions of the Organized Crime Control Act, how do we then take the Justice Department seriously? When Merrick Garland won't come out and say this is stupid, we're not going to do this, how do we take him seriously and that he's not being political when it comes to, say, the Mar-a-Lago investigation?
Well, that's the problem. I would hope that Merrick Garland, who I supported for the Supreme Court, would say that. I would hope every civil libertarian would say, look, if DeSantis gets indicted, we're going to defend him. We may not like him, we may not like his policies, but the idea of prosecuting somebody for a political act, both sides are doing this, and we're the losers, and we have to stop it. And we have to get back.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah.
I'll give you a yes or no. Would you make a bet that there will be a single Democrat who will come out and say, no, the Justice Department shouldn't investigate him?
No, but I don't think the Justice Department will investigate him. I think they will be silent, but people today don't have the courage and the guts to stand up against their own party. And if you do, you get in trouble. And I know that from personal experience.
No, yeah, and you said silence. I'm old enough to remember when silence was violence. We'll see you soon, Professor. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.